to mention that we had a memorial service here, and the flowers are as a result of that. So just holding a space for that love that filled the room yesterday and fills the room today. For historically, in religious science, spiritual leaders, the ministers, have taken the first month to talk about the principles of religious science. So over the past month, we've talked about our belief systems and the thing itself, which is known often by God, and the way it works, how God moves and lives and influences our lives, and how we use it, which is through the power of prayer. And today we're going to talk about how your thoughts cause your reality and cause your life. So that's what we're up to today, that our thoughts, because of what we call law, that part of the divine that through love takes our thoughts, takes our words, and acts upon them. So I encountered a story this last week that I wanted to share with you about Peter Henry Hughes, who was born in Louisville, Kentucky. And he was born with no eyes, and his hands and his legs would not extend. So he had what we would call, or often, physical disabilities. And his dad, Patrick Hughes, so Patrick Hughes Sr. and Patrick Hughes Jr., his dad said that he hadn't expected him to be disabled. He looked forward to having a son who would be playing football with him and sharing masculine, active things to do. And it was a disappointment for him when his son was born with these disabilities. And the thing about it was that Patrick, the boy, was unaware of the fact that he was disabled. He knew no difference. So here's the thing. He was very able in so many ways that were absolutely dazzling and unexpected. He started playing the piano at 9 months old. And so his musical talents were his abilities. And as he grew, he became more and more accomplished in many more musical instruments, and he started writing music. So our thoughts create our reality. And he was very able. It came to them when he entered the University of Kentucky that he and his dad decided that because he now was very skilled at playing the trumpet, that he should march with the band. And so, to facilitate that, his father took a night job with UPS, and okay, I got it under control. I'm not going to cry right now. So his dad took a night job and started going to classes with Patrick, and then they would go to band practice. And so the dad was the one that learned all of the steps and the movements and the choreographic essence of marching with the band, and they became a team. So he has now been featured in a movie which was called I am potential. And so Patrick says that he is the music of opportunity and the sound of potential. Okay, got me. I was doing pretty darn good. So once again, your thoughts are the cause of your life. And we direct our life according to our thoughts. I don't know about you, but I've noticed a lot of stirring, a lot of negativity, and a lot of anger, and a lot of angst. I can't turn on my Facebook, and I can't turn on my emails without being bombarded by this anger and conflict and blah, 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 blah. So is that what I want to create in my life? Do I want to create anger and animosity and separation? No, that's not what I want to create for my life. So I've made a decision to not watch television, not open my email, not listen to or look at my Facebook, because that's not what I want in my life. I want peace and harmony and love. That's what's for me to do. That's what's in front of me to do. And I'm not saying that that's good for everybody. I'm not saying that you should follow suit. I'm saying that what you want in your life is what you think about, and you make those decisions. What we think is how our lives show up. And for me, the next right step is to step back. And to really, as Gandhi says, really be the peace I seek. Now that doesn't mean that I don't have thoughts and opinions and ideas, but at the bottom of at the base of it, I know that we are one. And it is for me to stand in peace. Ernest Tom said this in this chapter, and I want to share it with you because this to me is just what it says. This is totally religious science. This is our belief system. This is it. Now stick with me here. Ernest Tom says this: it works, meaning the law and your thoughts. It works for us by flowing through us. This law we did not create, this law that we cannot change. We can use it correctly only as we understand and use it according to its nature. Hence it follows that if we believe that it will not work, it really is working by appearing to not work. When we believe that we cannot and will not, then, according to the principles, it cannot and will not, according to the principles, it does not. But when it does not, it still does. Only it does according to our belief that it will not. Ta-da! I love that. I love that. And so when people say, yes, but, that's what they believe. They believe in the yes, but, and the exceptions, and the difficulties, and the challenges, and the trials, and the tribulations, and the oh my's, oh my's. It's working. It's working. It's like a spiritual lie detector. You cannot hide from it. So our lives are created by our thoughts. And we can know exactly what we're thinking by looking around at our lives. There's been a lot of conversation about alternate reality. There are many realities. Based on what I see, what I live, it's working. It's working for all of us. It's working for all of us. He continues. But when it does not, it still does. Only it does according to our belief that it will not. This is our own punishment through the law of cause and effect. It's not a punishment imposed on us by the Spirit of God, but as an automatic result of failing to constructively use the law of God. So we talk about God being love, and that is true. That essence, that lovingly hears our prayers, hears our thoughts, hears our deepest belief, and then flows that back to us in love. So, Ernest Holmes continues to say, one of the great difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. So I can talk about the power of prayer, which I absolutely know works. I can talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. But until I use that power of prayer in love and in understanding, not a whole lot different is going to happen. You know the little cliche that is ever so true. You keep doing what you do and you keep getting what you got. Keep doing what you do and you keep getting what you got. So if what you have, chaos, confusion, disquiet, distress, fear, it's time to step back, recalibrate, and trust that part of the universal whole that is loving, that is generous, that is willing to fulfill our fondest dreams and beliefs. When things are looking chaotic and distressing to me, I know that it's time to step back. So what can we do? What can we do to make this law, this part of the spiritual truth to work for us? The things that we can do first is focus our intention. We've talked about thought being like either white light that's everywhere scattered or very focused light, which is like a laser beam. And when we're clear about what we want our lives to look like, practicing that clear, sharp intention of focus will be very powerful for us, just as a laser beam is powerful. And we can talk about having a joy-filled life. We can talk about what's wrong with our lives, we can talk and talk and talk, but the creative correction is practice. Less talk and more practice. Less talk and more action from that heart space of goodness. From that heart space of love, of humanity, of love of all humankind, without exceptions, because we are all one. Practicing it. Meditation, prayer, love. Acknowledging that every human, everything, all of it is God, without exception. But we want to divide it up, and we want to separate it, and we want to make it them against us, and they have the wrong idea, and they are not good. Is that the kind of world you want to live in? It's not the kind of world I want to live in. I really, genuinely choose to be the peace I seek. I choose to live a life in harmony. I choose to care about all of humanity, to do my part to create a world that works for everyone and everything. Now, there are a lot of people in this world that want to take action, and I bless them. That's what's in front of them to do. My job, my personal job, is to know the truth. And I can do that in solitude. I can do that in quiet. We each have a part to play. Coming back to and remembering that our thoughts are creative, and we live the life that we believe in. The lie detector belief. The belief of truly knowing what you're thinking and practicing it. It's so easy to drift off into the anger and the rage and the fear. But coming back and practicing it and practicing it and practicing it. Ernest Holmes says that our minds are like gardens. We have to cultivate the thoughts and the feelings that we desire, like we cultivate flowers in the garden. The weeds, the negative, will arise on their own, and they must be dismissed as they arise. He says no one has ever planted a weed, but in fact, we plant some very negative thoughts. So turning our attention to the garden that we want, to stay focused on it, to practice daily, and to nurture the good as it manifests. What you think is what you get. That's an indisputable law. And I think, for myself, that I've done pretty well. Because look at all of you are here. I know that there's only one essence, one creative source and force, one divine power that I call God. It goes by so many names. What we call it doesn't make a bit of difference. How we feel it is how it makes a difference. That creative force, that creative source is love. And from that love, springs forth all of the glory and the beauty and the good that is endlessly available to each one of us. And from that place of free will, being able to choose what I focus my life on, where I place my intention, how I plant my garden, is totally up to me. And that universal essence always says, yes, yes, yes. Whatever you want is yours. Whatever you focus your attention on is yours. And so at this moment, I make a conscious decision to focus my attention on love, beauty, joy, peace, laughter, humor. And with gratitude, with enthusiasm, with a sense of being fired up and ready to go, I just am so grateful for all of that. And so I say, thank you. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you, love. Thank you, peace. Thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you, all that is. And I allow myself to stand back with an expectation of the miraculous, amazing ways that shows up. I step back and expect miracles. I invite you to join me.